Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the HPC DG2-BXS-10. This is their Door Guard 2, HPC / Scotsman Door Guard 2. I don't know what the word or where the word Scotsman came from, but maybe it was a former name of the company who invented it. I don't know. So what I do know is this: the DG-2, the DG2-BXS is what we're going to go over. This is a door guard. It's a cylinder guard, really. It's a incredibly robust, very secure, easy to install, thief, vandal, foiling piece of hardware. In my opinion, it's well worth its weight, especially if you have a problem with potential for break-in, things of that nature. Let's go over it. So I've got all the parts splayed out here in front of me. I'm going to go over them one at a time. Here is, and by the way, I'm going to be referring to it, and you might want to have it open now. There's a link below this video to the product brochure. Not really so much important. It's just the catalog section where this is found. But the part that is important will be the link to the installation instructions. That I will be referring to. First of all, part number 5, backplate. By the way, this is the BXS, which is intended for 1.1" long cylinders. Mortise cylinders are measured from the underside of the head to the back of the cam. 1.1" is what the BXS is for. If you have a 1-inch cylinder, you would want the AXS-10. So DG2-AXS-10 will give you for a 1-inch cylinder. That's very common aluminum storefront. You need to know the cylinder thickness because if you order the thick one, your cylinder's not going to reach. If you order the thin one and have a longer cylinder, you might be able to make it work, but you don't want to find out that it doesn't work. Know the length of the cylinder, order accordingly. Now, since we're talking about cylinder lengths, there are optional spacers that are available. I happen to have, and it is not included, the 33-73S. This is a 1/8 of an inch thick spacer. 1/8 of an inch. That's going to go, obviously, underneath here to build that off. Now, why would you need this? Because you have a longer cylinder, obviously. This client happened to order 4 1/8 of an inch cylinders because he has an unusually long interchangeable core mortise cylinder. Very common. He's got a 7-pin cylinder, and he figures that he needs to be at 1 5/8. So those 4 plates will stack behind here. There's a 33-72S, which is a 1/16 thick spacer, and then the 33-73S, which is the 1/8 of an inch spacer. Order those accordingly or as you need, but your 1-inch and your 1.1", those are really common, especially that 1-inch. This happens to be the 1.1" model. Now, you've got what's called the backplate. Okay, you have what's called the hardened faceplate. Now, this is made of steel. That magnet will certainly attest to that. It's got like a silver powder-coated finish. The hardened faceplate is also magnetic. They state that this hardened faceplate is made of stainless steel for drill resistance. The faceplate is cast stainless steel. Now, I'm no metals expert, but I do know that stainless steel becomes magnetized when it's, or slightly magnetized, or somewhat magnetized when it is machined or worked. This, I'm really tempted to say, is certainly stainless steel, even though it imparts, an attraction to the magnet. But it's not significant. So I'm tempted to say that that's stainless steel. Meaning I'm tempted to agree with them saying that it's stainless steel. So here's the faceplate again. This is part number 2 in the installation instructions. This is part number 5. Let's just go and, okay, let's just go now in order. You're going to have part number 1, which is called a D-shaped fastener. You see why they call it a D? It's going to fit into that profile that's there and lock in place. 2, we've gone over the hardened faceplate. 3 is the hardened cylinder protector. You can see that the machining that's done back here, that's going to fit right in like that, and it's going to look right like that on the outside. Okay, and that obviously swivels and rotates. Now that is called a hardened cylinder plug protector. I can't say that it's stainless steel. Honestly, it doesn't look like stainless steel. They say that it's hardened, so let's just assume that it's hardened steel. Part number 4 is your, referring to the installation instructions, doesn't apply. That's your mortise cylinder that you are either, it's separate, not included in this. Part 5 is the back plate that we've gone over. Part 6 is a reference to the door itself. Part 7 is the flanged spacer, which is this, which goes along with the long bolt, which is this, and they mate together like this, which will mate to the back of that D-shaped spacer as it is installed like this, through the door. Then you've got parts 9 and 10. You've got your washer, which is part 9. You've got your short bolt, and that's going to connect down in here. Okay. The last thing that's not even called out is the wave washer, and that would go underneath the head of your mortise cylinder and fit like this. Okay. Now, the final thing is an Allen wrench, which you'll need because your short mounting bolt and your long mounting bolt, those are Allen drive. Let's go over the sell points. The cylinder is one of the most vulnerable parts of a narrow style aluminum door. Left unprotected, cylinders can be easily pulled or twisted out. The plugs of those cylinders can be pulled out, or the door style can be drilled, or the lock can be tripped open. The entire door guard series will foil an attack against all these vulnerable parts. The cylinder is a ridiculously easy thing to bypass to get into a door. True, you are going to break the hardware. True, you're going to damage the material. But in a break-in, that's probably not your concern. The truth of the matter is, anyone in the know would be able to remove that cylinder without too much trouble and without a very large tool, and using no other tools, very likely be able to get into that door done and do so in seconds, the bottom line. The DoorGuard 2 provides unsurpassed protection for lock cylinders on narrow-style aluminum doors using cast steel components. It creates a vault around the cylinder, virtually eliminating the possibility of unauthorized entry by removal of the cylinder or the cylinder plug. Okay? The faceplate is cast stainless steel, protecting against forcible removable of the plug. The DG2 is affixed with hardened steel bolts through the door. The unique construction provides easy installation, and it is, we're going to go over that next, and easy access without removing the door guard for servicing the cylinder. Door guard 2 can be used with cylinders from 15/16 to 1 3/8 in length. We've talked about that. Door guard 2 is a very common and popular item specified in lots of applications where people are looking for security. No, it's not inexpensive, but it is. If you know that someone is going to tamper with the cylinder, this is a very inexpensive insurance policy. In my estimation, and I don't think along the lines of how to defeat hardware for the purpose of defeating it, but I think the person's going to find a different way in, is the bottom line. Now, let's get into the installation instructions. If you want to review steps to go through installation, stay with us. If not, we're done. There is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up the full line HPC catalog and review all things HPC, lock, smithing, tool related, security hardware related. They're a name that is many decades in the locksmithing tool and security hardware business, and a name synonymous with many very unique tools. That link to the manufacturer's page is going to show you a number of handy links that don't really apply. What will apply is the link to the full product catalog, which, while it is a very large, unwieldy document, is the product catalog for HPC. Then, second, there's a link. There's a list of all the HPC products that we sell. Then, finally, there's a link to the HPC website. Okay, so now we're moving on to installation instructions. Installation instructions are very simple, even though reading it twice will probably make everything clear. The legend or the parts list is really important to know what they're talking about, so refer to that. Let's get on to step one. Remove the trim plate from the lock mechanism. What that means is the rectangular plate that's on the edge of the door that has 2 or 3 screws that cover the lock body itself, not your HPC item, but the lock body itself. Take that off, put it aside. Don't lose the screws. They're tough to find. Don't lose your screws or your marbles. Step 2, loosen cylinder locking set screws. What that means is the cylinder or cylinders that are on the door, there are tiny set screws that hold the mortise cylinder in and approach it onto the body into a groove. Back those out. Back them out like 2 or 3 turns, 2 or 3 revolutions. See if your cylinder will freely twist off. Remove that. Cylinder or cylinders. Remove them both if you have 2. Now, on the side of the door to be guarded, probably the exterior side, remove lock cylinder by partially inserting key and rotating cylinder counterclockwise. Discard. Okay, we've already done step 3. If there is a cylinder spacer ring that you already have, they say to discard it, put it in your parts box. Step 4, on the outside of the door, locate the back plate over the cylinder hole with the larger, this side, the larger diameter hole to the exterior. Replace the cylinder through the spacer plate and screw in lightly. I would use the wave washer. I would thread my cylinder in, but not tight. You just want to hold this on the door, and you're using the cylinder to locate it. Use a C-clamp on the edge of the door if it's necessary. It's a good idea to use that. I would personally clamp that down, make sure it's straight. I would mark my holes. I would center punch. I probably wouldn't center punch. I would probably take a very small 1/16 of an inch drill bit and drill a pilot hole so that I knew when I started step 5 that I was right on, dead accurate with both of my holes. Using a 25/64 drill bit, drill through the top hole of the back plate and through the near side of the stile only. Only breach through the exterior wall of the door itself. That's all. Now, through the lower hole, drill the same 25/64 through this side of the door only, but be sure to not drill into the lock mechanism because the lock is still installed, as you know. Step 8, on the inside of now remove all of that. On the inside of the door, I personally, using this as having this clamped to the door and drilling through it will certainly help you know if you're drilling the hole at a bad angle. So, that's why they're probably having you leave it on there. Step 8, on the inside of the door, locate the back plate over the cylinder hole with the larger diameter to the inside, meaning not to the face of the door. Replace the cylinder, lightly clamp it. What we're doing is using this as a guide now on the inside. Now, this is important. Drill a 25/64 hole through the top only, near stile, only in the top. You're not going to do the bottom hole. Only top only. I'll explain that in a moment. Remove the cylinder, remove the back plate. Now, step 11, insert the shaft on face plate, item 2, through the lower hole in the back plate and into door stile. This goes into here. Now, you're obviously going to have your cylinder installed. Okay, this plate's going to come like this. Now, at this point, you're going to need to remove you're not going to remove the lock body. you're not going to install the cylinder. Let's start over. You're going to remove the lock body, assuming it's certainly going to be necessary. Okay, so the inside top hole is drilled. You've removed the cylinder and the back plate. You probably now need to remove the lock body from the edge of the door. These two pieces are going to come through that bottom hole. You're going to use the washer and the short mounting bolt through the inside hole in the edge of the door where the lock body would occupy. You're going to come in and you're going to secure that, and there's thread lock on there. Then you're going to use the Allen wrench to tighten it. Okay? So, step 11. Insert shaft on faceplate through lower hole and back plate and into door style. Fasten with short mounting bolt and the washer. Tighten securely using the hex wrench provided. Figure 4 shows what I'm trying to discuss. They've not said to remove the lock body, and if they did, I've missed it. But figure 4 clearly shows it's removed. Step 12. Rotate the faceplate as shown in figure 6. Reinstall the lock mechanism and cylinders. So this is going to move. That's fine. That's normal. Lock body goes back in. Wave washer. Cylinder installation. Tighten the set screw, or set screws if you've got 2 cylinders. Lubricate lightly the plug protector, item 3, and insert into large hole from the back side. So at this point now, the lock body's back in your cylinder, or your cylinders are in. This is going to come in. You're going to close it up. Okay? That rotates in there, as you know. Step 13. Rotate faceplate into position. Insert the plate fastener, item 1, and fasten with flanged spacer and long mounting bolt. The D bolt goes into the D prep in the top. Okay? Flush, smooth. Long mounting flanged spacer, they call it. Then your long bolt. Mate together like that. Through the inside of the door. You're going to tighten that up using the included hex wrench. At this point, you've used all your parts. You don't have anything left. You've installed the wave washer. Then you're going to simply test for proper operation, make any adjustments necessary. Now, to service, easy. You're going to remove the long bolt. You're going to remove the flanged spacer. Your D bolt will come out, and you're just going to tip that out. Okay? At that point, you'd be able to access the cylinder. But that block doesn't come off the door because this is all connected. This is bolted through the inside wall of the door. To rekey the cylinder is what we just went over, and that is how the DG2-BXS works, and the AXS for that matter. Very nice quality item that you're going to get from HPC. Like I said earlier, these are costly, there's no doubt. Like I said, though, if you expect that you're going to be attacked on your cylinder, as far as I'm concerned, there's really no purpose. You can protect the cylinder by having a protected keyway, a key blank that can't be duplicated. The truth of the matter is it can still be drilled, hammered, pipe wrench, and spun off. You know, you can get a key that's impossible to duplicate, but that's only part of the security aspect. And HPC focuses on security hardware for the locksmithing trade. If you have any questions on the HPC, DG2-BXS-10. This is their HPC Scotsman Door Guard 2 for inch and an eighth cylinders, or any other HPC product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.